Okay, my friends, let's just take a look at this graph together in case the numbers 10 and 11 aren't making a whole lot of sense to you. So I want to talk about the horizontal values and the vertical values. So it's a bar graph, and it's a bar graph that's actually graphing two simultaneous things, the game 1 results and the game 2 results. Now, it's not the easiest graph to look at, but it's the best way to present the data, so let's walk through it. The numbers on the horizontal axis. All right, so if you look at the horizontal down here, the first one says square bracket 0, 1, close parentheses. Now, what I want you to focus on is just this region right here. There's a dark green bar that says 0.06, and then next to it is a bar that says 0.00. Now, there's two different colors of green on these bars. And if you look up at the top right up here, light green is game 1 results, and dark green is game 2 results. Okay, now looking back at the 0, 1 region, the dark green bar shows 0.06. 0.06 what? Well, let's answer number 11 first. That means 6%. 6% of what? 6% of the time. 6% of the time, what happened? That's where the horizontal axis comes in. 6% of the time, the game number 2 got an average that was between 0 pieces of candy and 1 piece of candy. So, for example, a half a piece of candy, a third of a piece of candy, 3/4 of a piece of candy, something like that. That's what happened there. So what's this 0 over here? Well, you don't see anything there because there is nothing to show there. That's game number 1. And what that tells us is game number 1 never had results that were that low. Now let's scooch over to the next region, which is 1, 2. 1, 2 means the average came back for that game of between 1 and 2. So either 1 piece of candy, 1.5 pieces of candy, 1.8 pieces of candy, all the way up to 2. 7% of the time, that happened in game 2. Now, you might notice there's a little tiny bar there, but it rounds off to 0. So still, in game number 1, it didn't happen enough to even notice. Let's scooch over one more to the 2, 3 region. So you see each of these regions has 2 bars indicated in it, side by side. Light green is game 1, dark green is game 2. So 16% of the time, if we were playing game 1, we ended up with an average between 2 and 3. 8% of the time, if we were playing game 2, we ended up with an average between 2 and 3. And it just keeps doing that all the way across. So the horizontal axis is showing you what the averages were for the game, taken 10 at a time. And the vertical axis is what percent of the time you actually saw those averages. Hope that helped.